Hello, everybody. Good morning. It is me, 7th Hanuman. In today's video, I will step it up and speed up the process in helping the TI community. You will start to notice the videos I make are out of the box. And the reason for that is because I need you guys to be prepared and understand this entire game stalking phenomenon is not what you see on the surface. And everything that's happening is out of the box in a way. If you think about your experience with the gang stalking, it's trippy, it's strange, and you're always one step behind. And you tried many different methods, but it's not working that well for you. It's not working the way you want it to work. And you're always frustrated. So the phenomenon of gang stalking have gotten the TI community stressed. And the reason is to unable to identify who are these gang stalkers. And even though you believe they are the people in public, they are your neighbors, they are the government, they are law enforcement, there's a part of you inside your mind. It's still unsure because you want to see that absolute evidence. You want the absolute proof, the absolute confession from the perps or from the gang stalkers, or see paper documentation, someone explain the entire logistics, and that will satisfy your mind 100%, where you can just finally know, okay, so it is them, or for you to finally know there's some solid real proof that can be traced back or investigated. But that's not happening to the TI community because majority of TIs are trapped in a state of trance. And the TIs that are trapped in the state of trance, whatever they believe in, they are stuck in it. And I know it's very important for me to show you guys and hopefully help you guys step out of that box of thinking. Because gang stalking is not as easy as people in the community describe. I strongly believe what I'm showing you, okay, and what I know, it's all happened by chance. And that's why I mentioned before I have a responsibility to help the TI community, to help you. And let's start with this video, okay? So I researched what is, oh, before I say that, you know what? Let's talk about this image you're seeing first. What you're seeing right now is an area of Mars, planet Mars, okay? And in the center of this image, most of you will probably associate that circle as impact craters because that's what we were taught by NASA and by scientists, okay? People, rumors talk about the moon. Anytime you see a photo of the moon, you'll probably hear people talk about impact craters, or hear the TV or the narrator talk about impact craters. Now, so there's impact craters, quote unquote, impact craters on the moon, and there's a lot of them on Mars, okay? So this is one area of Mars, and in the center you see what looks like a circle. Now, if you just take a few seconds and look at this image, look at the left side, okay? From the circle in the center, look to the left side. You see a bunch of little smaller circles. And if you look at the bottom of the image, you see other circles as well. If you look on the right side of the image, you see a bunch more little ones, little circles. So there's many. I can count probably at least 20 similar circular uh, circles of various sizes. Now, I'm going to ask you this. When was the last time you went exploring in nature or looked in a book with photos or watched a video or traveled or vacationed to a place or seen a place or an image, video referencing a place with something natural and is in a shape of a circle? So, in other words, what do you know in nature on Earth that's a natural circle, as natural as possible? So, when I researched this on Google, well, if you want to talk about stuff on Earth, I guess they say a tree ring, rings inside of a tree, I guess. Um, there's not really much, okay? Not really much. And from this one image alone, I count at least 20 different circular shaped objects. And to me, this is not natural. This to me tells me is intelligent. It's formed by some type of a design. Because where on earth do you have this? Look at it. Even though it's not a perfect circle, but from satellite image, it looks pretty good to me. I would call that a circle. Now, you see the line in the middle of this center circle? How wide do you think that is? From the red dot to the blue dot in the middle, that yellow line. How wide do you think that area is in feet? You can't tell, right? It's hard to tell. I mean, you just have to guess. But I'm going to show you, and we're going to see it. So that's a pretty good circle. And it's 3,808 feet. That is over half a mile. This circle is over half a mile in its diameter. Half a mile. When's the last time you've seen something like this? Okay, here's another one. Another random area. Here's another circle in the middle. How wide do you think this circle is? I mean, you can't tell, right? Because I kind of zoomed in on it, and who knows? So all you can do is take a guess. When's the last time you saw an object when you go hiking that's 12,000 feet wide in its diameter? That's over 2 miles. That is over 2 miles. What do you know in nature shaped like a circle and that's over 2 miles and you call it natural? There's none on Earth. So why there's so many on Mars? Is that natural? This is my opinion. No, this is obviously alien. Obviously another advanced civilization that created this. Look at this. This looks like, I know it's not a perfect circle, but it looks good enough to me. And it's so obvious. He's the problem here is, well, it's not a problem, but NASA will not openly tell the public that aliens are on Mars. But what NASA's are doing is showing these images. And if you are good at identifying things and you can put the pieces together, you will know by just looking at images. You don't need NASA to openly say, oh, yeah, there's aliens on Mars. You don't need them saying it. Just looking at it is good enough if you know what you're looking at. If this was only one of 20 circular objects on Mars, okay, I won't even talk about this. Okay, it could be natural, who knows? But the reason I'm doing this is because there are thousands and thousands of these circular objects on Mars. Probably tens of 20, hundreds of thousands, who knows how many. It's all over the planet. Does that sound natural to you? If you say it could be natural, fine. So just natural occurrence only on Mars. I think otherwise. I would, based on my personal experience and understanding of nature and science, whatever, astronomy, space, just whatever I learned throughout my whole life, put all that into a guess, a theory, I would say that's definitely alien. Definitely alien. That's over 2 miles. Okay, here's another image. How wide do you think this thing is? And just look at what's above. Look at these little perfect circles. You see these little perfect circles? Are those impact craters? No, they're not impact craters. These are like mounts. They're like they're raised. They're elevated. This guy is 35,893 feet in diameter. So 35,000 you divide 5,280 per mile. So this thing is almost 7 miles wide. Almost 7 miles in diameter. Okay, here's another one. Now this would be more considered an impact crater because it goes into the ground. But does this even look like an impact crater to you? I mean, let me ask you this. If you go to the beach and you see white sand or whatever, just clear sand, I mean brown sand, and you toss a coin into the sand and then you lift the coin up, you might see a circle that could resemble, looks like a crater. But I would imagine when something makes impact, it would skip and bounce as soon as it hits makes the impact with the ground. It just kind of bounce, especially when it's powerful enough to hit the planet to cause a crater. But this doesn't look like there's any bouncing. As a matter of fact, this looks like something dropped from above in a straight line, just dropped straight down and on right on top of it. Kind of like a landing path, huh? For like some giant spaceship. That's more believable than to think this is an impact crater. So why don't you guess what's the diameter of this thing? This circle on the left here. This quote unquote crater, impact crater. Take a guess. How many feet do you think that is? 115,000 feet. That is over 20 miles. Over 20 miles diameter. That's bigger than most of your towns. Bigger than most of your cities. Now let's look at this one. See, look at all these circular mounts. These are like mounts, they're elevated. I mean, they're not all perfect circle, but they're circular enough. Look at them. Where on earth do you see stuff like this? You don't. So what are they? Aliens. Advanced civilization. This thing in the middle is 749,000 feet. Almost 750,000 feet. This thing in the middle. is 749,000 feet diameter. You see that? How many miles is that? Well, I have calculation here. I'm going to show you. Look at all these other little ones. Those are huge as well. Okay, so 7,499, 749,965 feet divide 5,280 feet. That's how many feet in a mile. Will get you 142 miles. 142 miles wide. You don't see that on Earth. And it's on Mars. It's everywhere on Mars. And it looks like a pretty pretty good looking circle. I mean, it's not a perfect circle, but it looks like a circle to me. 142 miles diameter. That is huge. It's like seeing a mountain, right? Like a mount. That's 142 miles diameter. And you can just drive in a circle around it. So this place here is, I researched what is the biggest crater, impact crater, and this is supposedly the biggest impact crater on Earth. It's in South Africa. And if you look at the photo here on the right, you can kind of see like the edge of the crater on the left. It looks like a circle. You can kind of see like, but this looks like it's very ancient. If this is an impact crater on Earth, it looks really ancient. And the ones on Mars look way fresh, way newer than this one. Here's another one. This is a high hole crater. Now this actually looks like an impact crater, but this, if you look at the scale on the bottom right, you see 2,000 feet. See that? 2,000 feet. So you kind of just put that over this crater. So this crater is only about 2,000 feet diameter. The one I just showed you from Mars was 749,000 feet. This one right here you're seeing, it's not even half a mile. Oh, and by the way, the one from South Africa, the previous one, that one, it says the diameter is 99 miles. 99 miles. And that's the biggest one on Earth. And the one on Mars, 142 miles, was just an average size one. I didn't even go to the bigger ones. And the craters are actually, goes into the ground. The one I show you on Mars is actually elevated. So that's another indication of what's underneath, or if there is anything underneath. But most likely there will be something underneath, because I don't know what's used for. Could be a landing platform. I don't know. Why do they need all these landing platforms? How can it create a mount that's like, looks like a circle? Well, there's got to be something supporting it on the bottom, right? Got to be a framework, like the skeleton of the actual design of the frame. So what's underneath to create this circle? I don't know. No idea. I can only guess and only use theories for now. Maybe one day somebody else out there can prove it. In the future, that is. Here's another crater, Meteor Crater Natural Landmark in Arizona, I believe. So if you look at the legend, 1 mile on the bottom right, so this thing looks like it's about a mile in diameter. Can you imagine what you're seeing in this center photo, this crater? This is only about a mile. Can you imagine seeing one that's 142 miles, but not in not as like a crater where it goes into the ground, but actually raised out of the ground. So it's like a hill, like a mountain with a circular top. That's looks like a platform. Just thinking about that, doesn't that put you like out of the box? Makes your mind kind of go out of the box? I'll be showing you guys who these gang stalkers are. And this is my way of building my credibility. It's all going to make sense. You don't have to believe me, but then all you can do is make your decision based on what you believe in. So this is the city of Houston. So with the scale on the bottom, you see 20 miles. So if you put that, in the center, I think Houston's around 17 miles diameter, or the width, 17 miles. So that mount from Mars is 142 miles. Imagine having that put right on top of Houston, 142 miles compared to Houston, 17 miles. That thing would take up this entire map. Can you imagine seeing something like that and think it's natural? But not just one. They're all over the place on the planet. See, that's also another thing. If you say one or two, yeah, it could be natural. But let's talk about hundreds of thousands of them. Then isn't it really natural? See, outside the box thinking now. Here's the city of Boston. The scale on the bottom shows 10 miles. You put it right over that, so Boston's like under 20 miles in width. So that 142 miles, put that right on top of Boston, it'll cover this entire map. So I just want to show you guys this video to help you think outside the box, because I do not believe those circles on the moon and Mars are impact craters. I do not believe that, because an object from space making impact on the ground should not make a nice round circle like that. It just doesn't make sense to me. That round circle must have to be something from above and drop straight down with no bounce, just straight down and then lift it up. Sounds like a spacecraft landing, right? Or alien landing? Yeah. Gotta be from straight above and drop right down to the ground. That's how you make a round circle like that. If it's an impact, it wouldn't make circles. It would make a messy crater looking thing. It looks like, or a messy canyon looking thing, like a canyon, or like break apart to the ground. But NASA knows this already, and they don't want to tell the public because for whatever reason, they still show these images. It's obvious, and they don't want to tell people they're from advanced civilization or they're from intelligence. But if you know what you're looking at, if you can do some out of the box thinking, philosophically, it's so obvious. Those are intelligent, created objects. Because if there's only one or two, or maybe 20, 30, yeah, okay, it could be natural. But if there are thousands and thousands of them on one planet, that to me is not natural. I hope the TIs out there will start thinking outside the box. Ask yourself, is it possible there are entities, spirits, aliens, that have the ability to always be one step ahead of you? Are you comfortable as a TI to think you are actually one step ahead of the game stalkers? Only you will know the answer. Ask yourself, are the game stalkers one step ahead of you, or are you one step ahead of them? If the game stalkers are one step ahead of you, maybe all the things you know are wrong, or some of it are wrong, or the direction you're headed are not the right direction. But if you say you're one step ahead of the game stalkers, then you got nothing to worry about. As a matter of fact, I never tell TIs to worry. Relax, no fear. Thank you for watching me. All this will make sense very soon. No fear. Shimon, signing out.